What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Italian Stallion, here for a pre-Halloween episode of Rebels with a Cause. Love and chicken grease, as my boy Two Pair likes to say. So I wanted to go as a nice hippie today from back in the day. Other guys didn't dress up, but it's all good and fun. We're gonna have a great show tonight. Lots to talk about, man. How about that crazy last week in the Devil's Den up in Halls, 28-27? The Rebels pull it out. This week, they're going to have to bring a lot more if they want another region championship against Powell. And we're going to break that one down as we get to this. But remember, you know what time it is tonight, guys. It is not. It is Wednesday night, our new permanent night, at least for the next few months, with basketball season about to start. But you know what time it is. It's Rebels with a Cause, because that cause don't stop when the clock hits zero, baby. And honestly, that cause didn't stop when that clock hit zero, when the Rebels had to go to overtime and find a way to will to win, overcome 5 turnovers, overcome almost 140 yards worth of penalties, whether they were legit or not. Still had to overcome them, and you had a home team that was just looking for the upset, to be that team that knocks off West in 5A. But the Rebels found a way to win. They got pressure. Shout out to Davis Neely, my number sake, number 45, for putting the pressure on the quarterback for Halls, and big ups to Jordan Hayes for intercepting it, even though it didn't count as an interception, but left it to no chance of that ball getting in anybody's hands but his. And they stopped him on that 2-point try that would have helped him win. But we're going to talk all about that. First and foremost, though, I want to give the usual spiel that the views and opinions of this program are not affiliated with those of any other organization or of West High School. These are those of the RWAC Crew, myself, the Italian Stallion, the two-pair tape, Mr. Brian Tate, and the coach, statsman himself, Mr. Shane O'Mac. So just remember that. Also want to give a little bit of love to Mr. Alex Thatcher and the Knoxville Coffee Company, making that brew there in the heart of Marble City there off of Sutherland Avenue. Go pay him a visit. It's good any time of the day. And also my girls at the Chamber, Miss Kim Castle and Rachel Davis, go pay them a visit. They got the pedicures and manicures coming up, and very soon going to be offering massages. So absolutely, definitely got to go check them out, and you get some nice beverages when you go. So definitely give them a shout. Let them know that Rebels with a Cause sent you, and they might even a little bit of discount. So, but that being said, man, we got some serious business to talk about Friday night. It is going to be for the Region 2 5A Championship. In one corner, you've got Powell, and we'll talk about their tail of the tape. On our side, you got the West High Rebels, the back-to-back defending champions for 698 days. Boys, it's simple. Win, and you're champs again for, count 'em, 5 years in a row. You've won in 2019 or 2020, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this would be 5. So actually 6 region championships in a row would be the prize. Not to mention a potential of hosting 3 games in the playoffs there in Marble City, there in 3300 Sutherland Avenue on Bill Wilson's precious, beautiful field. That's what's at stake Friday night. This is serious business. There is no tomorrow. This is the game that everybody has pointed to. I can tell you on their end, they were talking about this game when they had Anderson County first game, that it's kept them up all year long, that they let one slide back on that overtime game. 24-23 was the final score, but West won big, 31-5, and played no doubt of what happened in round 3 of that playoffs. But you have left a taste in their mouth. They feel that both these trophies should be in their case, but you've beaten them when it mattered most to win them. And they're in your way again to win another one. So remember who you are, guys. You're the West High Rebels. All right? Forget about all these other games. They don't matter anymore. I looked at Halls' record and their schedule, and I thought, oh, okay, well, that's why they play the games. So you go to Powell Friday night. Find them why you are the beasts of the East, why you are the standard of 5A. and go use it as momentum to go win another one. You needed 8 games in a row. You've won 2. Found a way to win each of them. Find another way to win this one. In fact, leave this one no doubt. But you got to want it. You got to play it. And you got to execute it. And you've shown it at times, but not for 4 quarters. Make that happen Friday night at Powell in a hostile environment. No excuses. Go do what you got to do. Because you're the champs and this is your region and you need to get it done. That being said, though, got to bring on my co-host because they're going to bring the heat tonight, too. First and foremost, got to bring him on. My guy, Mr. 2003 West himself, 2-pair Tate, Brian Tate. And he's got an announcement tonight that I'm so excited for him about because it is official. He will be not only announcing the Rebels and Lady Rebels basketball this fall and going into winter, obviously, for the 19th year, but the Pellissippi State Panthers' inaugural basketball season will be voiced by the legend himself. So wherever you're at, whether you're watching it live or recorded, show this man some love. The hardest working guy I know, and I still love him, even though he's my favorite Seminole. The one, the only 2-pair Tate, Brian Tate. What is up, baby?
You gotta throw up the dubs.
Gotta throw up the dubs, baby.
My coaching stuff on right now as a coach right now. Just
I love it.
making sure we get the right plays called.
I like that. So
That's it up on them.
you got the Tomlin. What is it? Pittsburgh's coach. That's your other doppelganger, Mike Tomlin. Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. No, so I was on the road Friday night and I was listening to it I was trying to find a way to listen to it. And you were my whole highlight. So I had to rewatch the game. Mm-hmm. I think Diamond Clear Media.
Yeah, and it was their version. Guy's such a homer, but it is what it is. That's what those Diamond Clear Media things are when you're left up to them. So, but yeah.
The turnovers.
Bad, baby.
That's where I'll start with. It's getting late in the year. And the most complete game thus far is the Anderson County game. Mm-hmm. You know, and it had its share of turnovers.
Yep.
In this game, the penalties, the turnovers, and I don't think the skill players we're not getting those skill players in positions where they're successful. I feel like there are some of those plays where we're that close or we're that far away. Like we're getting a lot of 2nd and 8s. We're getting a lot of 3rd and 6s. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. 3rd and 7s. Those are kind of long. You kind of got to get it to where you can get sustainable drives and get 2nd and 4, 3rd and 2. Mm-hmm. Become very manageable. Mm-hmm. When we're not doing that, you see the team that you have, and they struggle. Mm-hmm. Struggle to put points. Well, if you go to the Alcoa game, that whole second half, they struggled. I don't even think they scored in the second half.
They did not. In fact, that was the one game all year that they've not scored an offensive touchdown. Jack Keith's pick 6 that made it the 10, to be honest with you. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's just looking at who they play and just the emphasis on this game. Like, Burdine, Person, Wren, Ray, those guys got to see the ball.
Yeah, like, Dominic Davis at tight end. He had another big play Friday night. So, yeah.
Davis, like, they just tied it up. World Series is crazy.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But, no, seriously, when we look at this team, and this goes all the way back to the first game of the season.
Yep.
It's putting up the necessary points when you have to. There's times where they're just having these long sustained drives and not getting any points.
Yep. 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 Or a crucial turnover just ruins everything. I
Turnover.
mean, yeah. Or a penalty negates it and you got a punt. Or you don't convert a 4th and 1 and the other team's now got all the momentum, no matter where you're at on that side of the field. They got the momentum.
Yeah, and it's just from watching the Anderson County game and then going over and watching the Halls game, that defense gets put in so many predicaments to bail the team out to make.
Hmm.
Like,
Would you like to know how many plays they were on the field, two pair, Friday night?
pretty sure they played well over 50 snaps.
81 snaps the defense was on the field for the entire game.
Yeah.
And the offense had 7 possessions. I'm talking 7 snaps on the offensive side of the ball the entire second half. And 3 of them were turnovers. Two
Yeah,
of them,
see,
one of them.
that's not going to win a state championship.
Yeah. No, it's not going to win a region championship either.
Not going to win a region championship. And, I'm just going to put it out there. There's a team that is really like chomping at the bits to get at this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they've circled it. They probably watched our podcast. They probably have said, you know what, I can't wait for them to talk about us and what they expect in this Powell game, because Powell's going to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Physical.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't a finesse football team. They will come and hit you in the mouth.
And you
Like,
want to know something else, two pair? They've developed a passing game that wasn't there last year. Deuce Rogers, and these stats aren't even updated from McMinn County. Going into the McMinn County game, he had over 1,160 yards passing and 16 touchdowns on the year. And they spread the ball around. There's not one receiver. Stooksbury's one of them, but he spreads the ball around to their receiving core. So it's not just going to be Wheeler on the ground, who has 600 or 700 plus yards on the ground and 9 touchdowns, but also Deuce can run the ball himself as well as pass it if need be. And that offensive line of Powell is very physical, and it's going to be a challenge for our front seven to really get the leverage and make the plays at this point. So
yeah, it really is. Like that front seven's got to bring it. Like, I think what what Steven Johnson and Cam Leggett said on those interviews after the Anderson County game, I think they've kind of have set the tone.
mm-hmm.
I feel like, the Deshaun battles, those
Mm-hmm.
really set the tone. Like, you can just look at the way that offensive line, that defensive line, excuse me, of Wyatt DeRoche.
Mm-hmm.
The linebackers, Davis Neely and Jack Keefe, they have set the tone.
Mm-hmm.
And what more can you say about Riley Manning?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean he had a tough game. He had a tough matchup. I mean, he got picked on. He got called for a lot of penalties, but at the same time, he literally saved the season or that game with that blocked kick. And not only did he block it, picked it up in stride and ran it back for the touchdown. Again, special teams for the most part, realistically, up until allowing the fake field goal and punt to be converted, had been flawless this year. I feel your special teams have been good. Pete Rogers making kicks, making those extra points,
Roger,
booming
how,
it through the end zone.
how
Yeah.
amazing has Pete Rogers, Jones Bowling?
Oh, Bowling has done great. Jones booted it deep and really helped out with field position. He really did. So yeah.
I like about those guys, as far as the special teams guys, when you look at it, DeRoche has made plays in special teams.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um, Riley has made plays. Burdine has made plays.
Yep.
The guy
Davis Neely's made plays as well. So, yep.
Davis Neely been this year?
Oh, Davis Neely's been huge. And I love it because it's my number 45. That's the thing. I love seeing that, and he's been playing his heart out, man. He has been playing his heart out. And he's on defense, he's on special teams, he's on field goal block. I mean, he's on there. The only thing he doesn't play is offense, for God's sake. So
Fucking play. You can really play him almost anywhere on the field. And that's one thing, like, I really do enjoy.
Mary Jane. I love it. I love it. I love you, Larry Frank. I love you, man. Having some fun on Halloween.
I
So
love it. But no, when you look at this team, and we got to bring Shane on.
Oh, we got to, yeah.
But when you look at this team, the thing that like strikes me is, how do you win these games with the penalties, the turnovers? Like, this is high school football. We're at the end of we're getting to the end of the season where
it's the fourth quarter, like he says. So yeah.
If this was the Clinton game, I'd have a problem with it. But I got a real big problem with it because it was on the road. And you got to go back on the road. You got to go back on the road to Powell.
The other side of Emory. The other side. Yeah. Well, let's bring him on. He's been waiting patiently backstage. I know he's got a lot to talk about tonight, and I want to get his thoughts on the game. And also, when the three of us are on, I'd also like to pay tribute to, we lost a brother the last couple days ago, who was a big legend here in the Knoxville area. But I want to bring him on early. He is our stats guy, our class of 2003 dude. I can't wait to hear what's on his Thanksgiving menu coming up, because that's a few weeks away, because the guy can cook. And ladies, he is single, so definitely hit him up. But he is our coach, as he was nicknamed by our Parker Dubon, the one, the only Shane O'Mac, Shane McGee. What is up, baby?
What's up, fellas? What's up? How we doing tonight? How we doing? First off, I want to say rest in peace, Big Zoe.
Yeah, man. Rest in peace, Zoe.
Let me get that banner up just to give him the properness. So yeah, 40. Do you know today would have been his 45th birthday, and he died 2 days ago, unfortunately. So
yeah, it's really sad because he was actually in the store. Him and his girlfriend at the time, they were in the store, and he was getting his phone. And we were just talking about just over the years of knowing each other. I remember when he did win professional for the Boys and Girls Club, the Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame. They're getting formal dinner each year, and just seeing this man like box, like he was a boxing legend.
35-3-2.
35-3-2, and then the thing,
5 knockouts.
If you were around him, man, you just had to love him, man. Like, he funny spirited, good person, good heart.
Passionate, I heard, was described too.
Man.
Everything he did, how he spoke, passionate. So,
I did hear that there's a fundraiser. Let me read it exactly. One second.
Please do. Yeah, they are raising money, because the poor guy didn't even have health insurance, and they're trying to raise money to give him a proper funeral. So yeah.
His kids go to school with Michael Courtney's kids. So they go to Grace, right down the street from me.
Okay.
And they are raising money for them. So I don't know if there's a GoFundMe set up, but hey, let's look out for his kids. Let's make sure they're taken care of. Let his kids know how much we loved him here in the Knoxville area. Dude was amazing. I mean, I ran into him a couple of times just through all my stuff going on. Dude was an amazing person. I know he's looking down on all of us right now. So just we'll keep his family in our prayers, and we'll do what we can for his kids to make sure they're taken care of.
Amen. And Two Pair, you mentioned he was in there just a month ago. The King's Chamber, one of our sponsors, he was there getting his beard and hair done and so forth like that with the girls, getting a waxing and so forth, and was just there a few weeks ago. So it really broke them too, because he's been a friend of theirs and they see him out and about, and it's just like this huge legend, this monument of a man is not going to be there. And you really just have to tell people you love them, because tomorrow's not guaranteed, honestly. That's the thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, man, it's just sad though to see a guy like that, man, and at this age, he's only older than me.
Yeah, 44. He was 44, and would have been 45 today. Today would have been 45. Yep. So, but rest in peace, Big Zo. You'll never be forgotten, honestly. So, yeah, for sure. Well, guys, we were already talking about it. Shane, what were your thoughts? I know you had a game that you were kind of coaching, but you turned it on late and you've gone back and watched it. And actually, that's not even the right team. Forgive me for that. That's actually should say Halls, not Anderson County. So let me fix that real quick while I get that done. But Shane, what were your initial thoughts on that game? Because when we made our predictions, we felt that it would be a comfortable win. We knew that Halls actually had a winning record, but we were kind of questioning the teams they had beaten. But damn, did they put it together Friday night?
Almost like, so based off who Halls has played this year and who West has played this year, West should have won comfortably. And especially looking at like how Halls has won and lost in their games this year, like I looked at it like this should have been easy. We come out there, we do our thing, we walk away 35, 40 points to their, I can't remember what the score I said last week, like 10, I think is what I said. Yeah. 35 points, somewhere around there. But it's almost like we played down to the competition, and Halls really won it. I'm not going to lie. They went for it in key moments. The defense finally locked in that fourth quarter. As I was watching, I'm at one game watching a horrible offensive play calling game, and then I'm watching this one on my phone, and the defense stepped up when it needed to, but should never have got to that point where it was we're going to overtime. Like all Halls had to do was convert on that fake punt, which they came damn close to.
Yeah.
It late in the fourth quarter, and they didn't. West got the ball back. We go to overtime, and we score, and then we stopped them from getting a 2-point conversion because Halls went for it on the 2-point. But damn, like, boys, I'm going to say this right now. You know what you're capable of, and you're not playing to what you're capable of. You seniors, you juniors, you're riding off the coattails of the last two classes. You have got to step it up right now, win against Powell convincingly, get ready before we hit the playoffs the week after this. It is time to play West football. This shit that y'all are doing right now, where you're letting teams stay in there, is bullshit. I don't care about my language right now. I don't care if it's Rebels at the Burke, whatever. No. Y'all got to step it the freak up right now. You want to get that third P. You will prove that you are the team to beat. In 5A, you come out and you handle business every week from here on out. The shit that y'all been doing this season is not what West football is. Step it the hell up. Play West football. Dominate these teams. Make their mamas feel every hit that you do. Score on every drive you can. Put the team deep. Don't let them get in. Don't make this game close, because if it gets close, y'all slow down and get all in your feelings and whatever else it is now time to lock in, win this game, win the next couple weeks, get freaking home field advantage for the next 3 weeks, and we should be in Chattanooga having a freaking pregame show for you all to win the next number 3. I'm tired of watching us play mediocre football against teams that we should dominate. That's just what it is. I've been coaching this game long enough. I know what football looks like. I've played it my whole life. I'm 40 years old. Been doing this shit since I was 7. Y'all got to do something. That's just what it is. I'm tired of watching what I'm seeing right now on the field.
Preach.
It's not play calling. It's execution. Effort, attitude, and toughness every snap.
You know what the worst thing is too, Shane, and preach, brother. That was amazing, and I hope that it lights a fire under our guys' ass, because here's the problem with it: the parents. Two pair, you've had numerous conversations with different parents. It's not the same guy or the same mom. It's all of them. And I've even heard the word shit show in the stands. This has been a shit show this season. But somehow we're 6-3. And it could have been a possible 8-1 at this point. But the thing is what's so frustrating about it is you're this close, but like what Shane said, you're this far away. Now, I have a question for you two guys that is a very concerning thing for me. In the Central game, your offense wasn't on the field in the second half, but but it was a good reason. Your defense and special teams kept scoring. That didn't happen this time. That's inexcusable that your offense literally barely had under 10 snaps for the entire second half, and your defense was out there for 81 plays. That is inexcusable.
That is inexcusable, and that's what I've been saying. It's like you're putting your defense in a predicament, and it's wearing those guys out.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've still seen the issues with I've rewatched film on games I can rewatch film on. That middle is wide open every freaking time. If you at this point go to a Tampa cover 2 and have the middle linebacker cover the middle of the field, I don't give a shit at this point. Play 2 high safeties, play corners on man, play 2 deep zones, and hit that middle drop back and cover the middle. I don't care. Like it's some bullshit at this point. And it's not like on it's your freaking effort.
I also think that the sacks is not there this year. Like they're getting pressures. They're close to sacking the quarterback, but the quarterback's making one extra step, one extra move, and like you said, Shane, they're converting these. They're nickel and diming it down the field and getting that. We can't get off the field on third down. That's what's frustrating.
We saw it in the spring, and that was my biggest concern in the spring was the middle, and teams have been exploiting it all year. It is there. I'm telling you right now, as a offensive and defensive minded coach, no matter what it is I'm doing, I'm running a slant route, I'm running a stick route, I'm running an in, I'm running anything that's across that middle, just past your linebackers, I'm eating you up all day. And that's what everybody's been doing all freaking season. And it's not, I mean, the defense is capable of stopping it. If you aren't fast enough, get freaking faster. If you aren't mean enough, get freaking meaner. Linemen, you need to shoot that gap. All guys, A, B, and C gap, shoot the gaps. Shoot the gaps all day long and stop them. If you shoot that gap and fire off that ball quick, you are going to cause disruption immediately. And it is bullshit that you are not doing it. There is no reason that some of these guys are getting all the time they have to throw the ball or run the ball if you aren't shooting your gap. Stop hugging the freaking offensive lineman, shoot the gap, get low, fire straight through, and do football 101. It's that freaking simple. If I can coach 6th, 7th, 8th graders to do that, you all should be able to do that as juniors, sophomores, and freshmen. Or juniors, sophomores, and seniors. Excuse me. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we know what it looks like, what it's supposed to look like, and it's not looking like that. And so then it goes back to 2-pair, like Shane said, that, you're dealing with a lack of effort. Bad angles. I mean, there were some horrible angles, and I don't understand where the common sense is lacking. The coaches prepared them. The coaches prepared them and told them, look for this, this, and this. And when you are not covering the tight end, and you know that their kicker can't kick it past 10 yards, and they're going for a 40-yard field goal, and the damn tight end breaks out of there and is wide open. And the
what that tells me right there is that the strong safety who should be covering that tight end, depending on remember what the coverage is, that strong safety should line up all over the tight end, and he should be on that dude. You're gonna play 10 to 12 yards off of him, and you're gonna watch where he goes. You're gonna be able to still crash down and stop him from getting anything.
Yep.
If you are doing that, it means you're cheating in the backfield. You're looking at the run first. You're not playing pass. You're not watching your man, and you're letting it happen. I will exploit you all freaking day. If I see that you're peeking in the backfield all day, I'm running a route to my tight end. Get to the sticks. That's what I'm telling you to do every time. I will draw up something, tell you here's where I want you to be. There's where you need to be. So what that strong safety needs to do is bite down and watch that tight end every time. Stop worrying about the run. That's what your linebackers are for. You need to watch that tight end 24/7, and you go where he goes. Let the free safety roam with whoever. If you got motion man, let him roam. If not, let those outside linebackers cover that slot receiver, and you do your thing on that tight end every time. Because the linebacker should be watching that running back and the outside receiver, or the slot receiver, excuse me.
No, you're I preach, brother, preach. I love it. I'll tell you this. I do want to give a shout out to a couple of guys that had some amazing games that I don't want it to be overlooked. You had Tavion Ray with some unbelievable runs. He had over 168 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. He was amazing. I was hoping they'd keep feeding him the ball, but like I said, you can't feed the guy the ball if the offense don't have possessions on the field. I mean, under 10 snaps for the entire second half ain't going to get it done to get it to your playmakers. That's number one. I want to give a shout out to the offensive line for the holes that they were opening up in the run game. The pass game still needs work in the pass protection, but it is what it is in that regard. But that being said, though, that being absolutely said, what I want also known is that Jordan Hayes played a hell of a game at the cornerback. He was cheated out of an interception. And let me just tell you this, too, Pear. This is how bad the interception was cheated. He covered the guy the whole time, actually got both arms underneath it. The reason I know this is I'm watching with binoculars, and they actually ruled it incomplete. Why that's significant? Instead of West having it on the 1 or 2 yard line, they have it now 4th and 6, and guess who scores a touchdown? Them. So it's that play that if you get off the field, they don't have one more play to make that touchdown. So instead of you only being up 14-13, it is, you're still up 14-7 with the ball on the 2 yard line. Now, on the other side of it, you stripped them on the goal line. The ball was clearly in the end zone. JP Peace jumps on it, and literally speaking, the ref puts the ball on the 1 yard line as opposed to bringing it out for a clear touchback. So again, there was some ball placement, some questionable calls. I'm not going to just blame that all on that. But if you take care of business, like Jimmy Johnson said back in the day, never leave it in the hands of the officials. If you
Never,
take care of business, it ain't even talking about maybe a foot's in bounds. Maybe the ball's placed on the 1 yard line or out to the 20. Maybe it's an interception and West ball as opposed to 4th and 6, and it becomes a touchdown for Halls. The point of it is if you execute, if you do what you are told by your coaches and use common sense, that is what's missing from this team between the last couple of years. Because yes, there were some talented guys. There's talented guys on this squad, but the problem is they're not playing smart. And again, penalties, inexcusable face masks. Guys, here's the other thing too. What I get concerned with is I see the other team batting balls down at the line of scrimmage. I wish we could do that at times as well, that we bat the ball down, and that way we can stop the ball from getting to the receivers and so forth. I mean, but if that's how the technique is, I just notice it when other teams bat the ball down on us and we're not doing the same thing back. That's what pisses me off. So yeah.
It's a thing executing though, because like when we talk to the parents, I love what the parents are saying, because a lot of the parents are speaking from the truth of what we spoke about, of how you have a lot of guys on this team that, you kind of rode those coattails of those previous senior teams. And those previous senior teams, they're gone. Those dudes are playing college football now.
Yeah, those dudes are living their life now. It's your turn.
Mm-hmm.
It's your turn.
It's your story, and your story right now is not looking good. I mean, not looking good.
And the thing is like thing we say good. You gotta take care of the football.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta take care of the football. Like, in order for this team to be where they need to be, because there's been plenty of times where I have to give Lamar Brown tremendous amount of patience and credit, because you have a guy at the helm, right? him being that senior guy, you don't want to send a message to the seniors and the team if this guy is turning up. Like, I'll say this: it's never been at the point where you can get it. Like, no one player costs anybody the game.
No.
You know what I'm saying? No one player does that. No one player does that. Shout out to my man Steven Johnson, man. Just saw he was in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
And his son blocked his ass off. I mean, he railroaded a guy and opened that hole for Tavion, and Tavion was dragging defenders down the field. So shout out to his kid, honestly. So
that's what I've said. I've said, like, Steven Johnson, Deshaun, like, the offensive line has really took it upon themselves to have these game-breaking holes. We go back to the Anderson County game. The backbreaker play was the Messiah Wren run.
Yep.
That changed the complexity of that game. And you get that from what you have up front. Up front, I would say this: the last 2 games, they imposed their will.
They did. They did.
Yes. They've imposed their will. The defensive line has imposed their will as well. It is the amount of movement. If even in Deshaun get you going that second level, it's a problem. We might be getting 6.
Mm-hmm.
How many total snaps were there in the game?
In the game, I'd have to look it up, but if truth be told, if the defense was on the field for 81 snaps, and it went to overtime, but each team scored on the first play in overtime. So, so you have to count that as a snap too. But our offense literally had it maybe 7 or 8 snaps in the second half, guys, honestly. So
that's not winning football.
Mm-mm.
You have to control the clock. You have to control the down and distance. You have to execute on every play.
Mm-hmm.
The running game was where it was at in this game, and going away from it. You want your quarterback to lead you, but the running game is doing what it was doing in that game. You rely on that running game because that's a lot of yards to get in high school. Running, we had 100. Was what
he finished. He finished with if you count the 10 yards in overtime, it was over 170 yards. So technically, he had 3 touchdowns in that game. I actually am cheating him out of 1. So my bad. Yeah.
What? So that's what who had the 170 yards? Was it Tavion?
Oh, it was Tavion. Tavion was the stud. So
yeah. And how many yards did their running back have?
For us, for Messiah, I think I think we finished with over 200 yards. If I was to say, I'd say maybe Messiah had under 30 yards or something. He was
name a high school or college football game where your running backs get over 200 yards rushing and you don't dominate the game. Name a game, please name a game.
Well, and the sad thing is it was in the first half too, because the majority of Tavion's runs were in the first half, because like I said, they only had 7 or 8 snaps in the second half. So
that shows that you went away from the run game. That shows it, or just like I will never bash a coach for anything. I will.
No. But Shane, I do want to ask you something in two-pair. I know you didn't watch the game, but I'd like your thoughts on this, because Shane does bring something up. Everybody knows that West's bread and butter is control the clock, establish it with the run, and you use the pass maybe to open it up a little bit more. But my question is this: why would you start the game right off the bat with a pass and it gets picked off? Now, there's no guarantees it's going to be picked off or what have you, but seriously though, like, why would that be the case? Why would that honestly be the case? That you would start that off and basically go on ahead and go for it, and so forth with a pass, and not establish the run right off the bat, especially with what you did with Anderson County last week. So yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why, actually, I rewatched it on Diamond Clear.
Mm-hmm.
I went to rewatch And like, why are we not? Like I told you, we've got to get it to where it's second and 4, third and 2, third and 1. Got manageable down. If we don't get manageable downs, like let's say we're on our own 25, it is 1st and 10. We give the ball to Birdine on a jet sweep. He loses 2 yards. So now we're starting 2nd and 12.
Mm-hmm.
So we're having to make up yards that we already lose on the first play. And consistently, we've done that all year. That's one thing we've done this year is been able to do that. We just got to really get sustainable drives to where we're being a little bit more methodical. If we use our up tempo, let's use our up tempo in situations that's going to be beneficial, not where it's going to be detrimental.
Amen. That is perfectly said. That is perfectly said, Two-Pair. I mean, here's the other thing, too. At the beginning of the year, it was the offensive line getting false start penalties, and you're not good enough to overcome a 5-yard deficit. You're not. And here's the other thing, too.
The speed of our receivers, you shouldn't have, even if you do get 2nd and 12, 3rd and long, like, you tell me that you can't do a quick slant, a quick out, a stick route, something that gets that yardage back. Like, I truly believe the coaches know how to draw the right plays for everything. I truly believe it. But man, the boys are. I don't know if they're looking for the home run ball every time. Like, we're not built that way.
Yeah,
we're not built for the deep home run ball. Like, if you run your routes clearly and you get that separation like we know they're capable of doing, this shouldn't be an issue, especially if like the run game is getting stopped. You should at least be able to freaking hit a quick pass. Like, stop going for a deep ball, get something that's right there, set everything up for the deep play later. But come on, like, man,
it's frustrating.
I'm not gonna lie, it just pisses me off.
No, it is frustrating, and especially when you are superior to that team. And again, some could argue that other than the Maryville game, you have pretty much played to the competition that you played at. Maybe scores were different in the second half once you realized who you were. But if you look at some of the teams when the games were close, it's like, why is this happening? And the only thing that I can take comfort in is that you did go up 17-0 on Anderson County. Can you do that against Powell? Can you do that? And let's talk about it. Let's switch gears. The Hall's game is past us. These other games are past us. Now in front of us is a region championship for the number 1 seed, for the right to potentially host 3 games. Obviously, you got to win them. But these 2 teams, guys, have been the class of 5A. These are the last 3 state championships. So put it to you like this. The freshmen, and I want to give a shout out to Chris Smith for pointing this out. Maybe there's been a couple of guys that have transferred to other schools that are not in 5A anymore, but they've transferred to other schools. But what I'm going to say is this. There's not a kid at another 5A school right now that has not had a ring from either of those 2 teams. Powell was the 2021, which means their freshmen are seniors this year. Our seniors were sophomores and juniors when they won the last 2 rings. So all the players on the field have a ring, pretty much, at least if they're freshmen for they're seniors for Powell. But what I'm getting at is this has been the game that has dictated who not only represents East Tennessee, but has ultimately been your overall champion winner the last 3 years.
Man, I've got Powell's scores pulled up. They've lost 1 game, and that was by 3 to Anderson County.
Without Connor Wheeler playing, who was suspended for the game, by the way. But
here goes scores real quick. Farragut 35-7, Oak Ridge 35-7, Heritage 38-0, Clinton 48-8, Halls 32-7. Carnes 38-0. Knox Central 34-8. McMinn County 34-18. They get up early, you're done.
Yeah,
that's just what it is. West will not win the district if they allow Powell to play Powell football. Powell is showing that they're capable of doing it. You need to come in and play West freaking football and dominate this game and play like you're capable of doing and stop bullshitting around. Plain fucking simple.
It's true. We have a comment and shout out to the chat box is hot tonight, and I was hoping it would be hot and definitely contribute, man. We want questions, we want it. 332 Studios. What does West need to do to beat Powell? Guys, can I
You
give you the tail of
run
the
the
tape real
ball
quick?
down their freaking throat. You
Yeah.
run the ball down their freaking throat the whole game. You set up the pass plays for when it is due. It's a play action where they bite on the run and you open up the receivers to make plays. Plain and simple, right there. Football 101.
Here's the other thing too. There's no way that you can allow 81 plays of on defense again with this offense, with Wheeler with over 600 plus yards and 9 touchdowns. Again, these numbers were before McMinn County, so I don't even know what the box score was of that. I know they won big. You said 34-18, but then you got Deuce Rogers who had over 1,100 yards passing, 16 touchdowns. They've got a weapon of a kicker in Stooksbury. He has 18 touchbacks, 49 points, kicking either extra points or field goals, and he averages 43 yards a punt. And he also plays wide receiver. He is their whole team, the Air Force commit. So the point is they've got players. Not to mention they've got one of the league leading sack artists in the area in Thomas, 11 sacks on the year. And again, that was before with whatever he may have gotten against McMinn County. You're playing a complete football team, and this team has been dreaming about you. We have been living rent free in their heads because they feel that the 2 trophies that are behind me should be in their trophy case. So what does West have to do to show those weren't flukes? We are the team. And again, we beat them very well in that round 3. That third round game, 31-5, it was all West, baby. Don't make no mistake about it. If you want to go back and watch it, go on ahead. It's on Rivalry Thursday. But the point of it is this is a new year. This is a new game, and this team is at home. It's their senior night. They want to send those seniors out with a win over West and a region championship and that 1 seed. And like you said, Shane, it starts up front, man. Who's going to control the trenches? That big offensive line of Powell, or is our front 7 going to shoot those gaps, like you said, and cause havoc in the backfield that Connor and Deuce don't get going?
I think our front 7 can do it. Like, I got enough faith that that's where the game should be won. And when I look back at the Halls game, that was the difference in the trenches. It was just 1 or 2 inches, 1 or 2 plays, 1 or 2 stops. It's gonna be one. And that's why I said those guys on that offensive line that are gonna be key. If Battle and Johnson keep moving mountains, Davis keeps moving, you're going to see big games by Wren and Ray if they can get going. And there's got to be a way to get Burdine and Patterson and Person and Ancelot. There's got to be packages for those guys. Like Person.
Has to be.
You get Person on some one-on-one.
Yeah.
Use his height to his advantage.
Yeah.
He's got a skill set. He can go get it. Abel Ancelot, put him in more situations where he's on the perimeter. Burdine, I mean, what more can you say about Burdine? He's been the MVP.
And he had to play a lot of defense. That's why he really wasn't doing much offense the last game. I mean, the other thing too, Per and Shane, you can also comment on this, is let's also not forget that Detroit Patterson had a beautiful catch and run for 49 yards that got negated by some phantom holding call that really, if it's going to be called, should have been an offensive pass interference or a pick play, as they like to call it in college football. But the thing is, that negated a 49-yard touchdown from Dubon to Detroit. If that call stands, if that touchdown stands, that game is a whole different game, in my opinion. I don't know. I feel that when game of inches, like you said, 1 touchdown happened because they didn't call an interception when Jordan Hayes clearly got his arms underneath it and got the ball. And then on the other side of it, you get a touchdown negated and you end up having to punt that series, if I'm not mistaken. So, so the point of it is that realistically, if those 2 things don't happen, that's 7 more points differential. But the way Powell has come out is very impressive. They don't leave anything to chance. The only game they started slow was the Anderson County game. And let me tell you something. They fought and fought till the end, and it took a last-second interception that finally ended their hopes. And that was without their all-state stud running back in Connor Wheeler.
Mm.
I'm about to. I'm looking at the stats right now for Powell and what they do per game. Look, rushing seems to be their that's their go-to. Well, no,
They're balanced. I mean, they
they
really are. They
they're
really are.
well. Let me run these numbers real quick. So give me a minute.
Sure.
It's gonna take me a minute. So y'all keep talking.
Yeah, no, and let me just give you some numbers too for everybody that wants to know the overall series tail of the tape, as I promised at the beginning of the intro. Powell leads the overall series 26-15-1. The last game was won by West 31-5 in the third round of the playoffs last year, en route to West's back-to-back state championships. Since 2019, West leads the overall series 5-2, with 3 of those wins coming in the playoffs. Just want to let everybody know that. So as of late, West has definitely been on the right side of things over Powell. And realistically, Powell's 2021 team had a lot of talented offensive players that are playing some major college football, but it also helped that you had the number 1 player, not in the state, but in the nation, playing defensive tackle and even using him as like he was the refrigerator in jumbo sets running the ball in Walter Nolan, who's now at Ole Miss. So I'm just saying they've had some players that have come through that program. Go ahead, Shane.
Here's just Powell's rushing numbers per game with positive yardage from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players. 205 yards rushing per game.
That's what they average. Okay.
Yep. Let me do passing.
And that's Deuce Rogers back there, you know.
Yeah. Let's see. What's Rogers' passing numbers looking like?
Yeah, because last I saw before this past game, he was at 1161 for the year and 16 touchdowns. You know, so and he's a big boy. That's a big boy to tackle, and he loves to run.
And take off if everything is up to date. So let me go do their passing numbers real quick.
Sure,
Okay.
Go ahead. But like I said, too, Pear, while Shane's doing that, the fact is that these two teams have acclimated for the last 3 state championships in 5A. So, you know, and some special players on both sides these last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I expect a classic on Friday night. I mean, if one team beats the other very handedly, I would be shocked because it is a rivalry game. But again, West has to limit the turnovers. I mean, if you can go flawless and watch your penalty yards and watch the turnovers and play disciplined football and let them be the team that plays undisciplined and turns the ball over, then you can flip this script very easily. But
so we got rushing at 203 yards a game. You got passing at 140 yards a game.
So pretty much they're averaging close to 350 yards a game on offense. And, you know, they've probably had some running clocks that have maybe even slowed those numbers. Those are probably only first half.
Once you go over 30, so let's pull back up.
I know they had a running clock on Halls. I know that much. And they had a running clock on McMinn this past week because the message board said so. They're a tough team. They are very good, very well coached. So, yep.
They are. They're very tough. Like, I know we're going to be in like a really, really tough.
So the Heritage running clock, Clinton running clock, Carnes running clock.
Seymour was probably a running clock.
Hold on. Did they play Seymour?
I thought you said they played Seymour.
No, they didn't play Seymour.
They didn't?
Yeah, Anderson County, Farragut, Oak Ridge, Heritage, Clinton, Halls, Carnes, Central, McMinn.
Okay, that's it. Central.
Pending on when some of these teams scored, you possibly had a running clock a good portion of some of these games.
Yeah.
And the fact that they went 32-7 against Halls and you took Halls to overtime, I mean, you've got to shut that down. You got to play West football the last 2 years to dominate this game. I mean, you've got something. Your linebackers are going to have to play discipline. DB's going to play discipline. You can't give up anything. This is what it is. You're looking at 350 yards, almost 350 yards of offense.
Yeah.
And for high school football, that's a lot of offense.
Yeah. Wanting to talk a little bit, and we'll come back to this game to make some predictions. But truth be told, one thing that I do want to mention is that the Region 1 has already been pretty much set, just to let you know. Sevier County has clinched the #1 seed in Region 1. Morristown West is going to be the 2 seed. Tennessee High is the 3 seed, and Davy Crockett is the 4 seed. Why do I bring that up? If West loses on Friday night, West would host Tennessee High in round 2, or in the first round, rather. Powell would host Davy Crockett. If West wins, West would host Davy Crockett, and Powell would host Tennessee High, just to let you know. That's just how everything kind of worked out this year. So, yeah, just an FYI. That being said, we did mention Halls. If West does beat Powell, you could be looking at a rematch with Halls in the second round of the playoffs, provided Halls takes care of business against Morristown West. And the other thing, too, is Morristown West didn't go quietly against Bearden. That was a dogfight of a game Friday night. And Bearden ended up winning by a field goal, if I'm not mistaken. But again, I don't think that it's going to be as much of a cakewalk this year when you're playing those teams from Region 1. In Sevier County, look at their record. They're 9-0. They lost their tailback. I don't know if he'll be back for the playoffs or not, but they have had probably one of the most exciting offenses, averaging what they average. And they went down to Chattanooga Friday night and beat the holy hell out of East Hamilton, who's probably going to be your Region 4 1 seed or 2 seed, and they made mincemeat out of them 29-0. Why I bring that up is these are some of the games you might have to face depending on location. And if West loses but is fortunate enough to win in the first round, it's a date with Sevier County at Sevier County in round 2. So that's what's all at stake on Friday night. This is serious business. And I hope that the guys take it seriously in a way that they don't play out of themselves, but let the game come to you. But let's be smart, play passionate, play West football, represent that dub. Honestly, represent that dub, and don't like us, you don't like them, but you know what? At the same time, they got to respect you. They definitely respect you because you've been on their brains for the whole year, and that was from their own coach. So yeah.
On paper right now, Powell's favorite.
What would you put the line at if there was such a thing? 10?
Yep. I put 10 pound.
10. Okay. And not to mention they get 3 just for being home if it was like a college football. So home team usually gets 3 points whether they're bad or good. So
yeah, this state rankings right now between the two teams, Powell's ranked number 17 with strength of schedule, and West is at 22, tied with Bearden. At let's see, strength of schedule right now is, or their strength is, both teams. See, we are ranked. We are 24.0 and Bearden is 24.07. Powell is 11.1. So that's basically what they're allowing a game. Because they've had a few games where they allow some points, but that's really that Anderson County game kind of screwed up their numbers. But we're basically allowing 24 points a game to Powell's 11. You got to shut down. You got to shut them down.
You know what's interesting?
Powell's averaging 35.7. We're averaging
31, I thought, right? 30 or 31? Yeah, 30 or 31. Yeah. So,
I mean, it's a close game, but with error handling teams that we've played, and it's been closer games, you either play West football in the past or go ahead and kiss home field advantage goodbye.
Can I ask you guys this, because this has been a real thing too? Do you think that there's a possibility that Powell wants this game so much that they maybe play out of their selves and are the team that makes the mistakes, and West capitalizes, because sometimes you can put so much effort into a game that you don't do the little things that you've been doing all year long. And the thing is they've pointed to this game. They've taken care of business, and listen, we're excited about this game too. But the thing is, West, you would have to say, and their fans have even admitted it on the coach team message board, West is more battle tested than Powell is. I mean, you'd have to say Powell's toughest game was Anderson County. But realistically, the other teams have not really, given more of a fight. But it seems like West always gets everybody's best shot too, Pair. I mean, what's your thoughts on that, man? Honestly,
I mean, we get everybody's best shot. We're the defending, back-to-back state champions. We hadn't looked like it. We finally put a complete game together up against a team that, I felt like we should beat. Anderson. There were times where we looked like the better football team. There were times where we liked the better football team against Halls. Now you're going up against a team for a region championship. There's still something left to behold. And if you're going to take it by the horns, and this would be, 3 in a row if they win?
If they win this, this would be their let me see. They were region champs in 2020. They were region champs in 21. They were region champs in 22, 23, 24. So this would be the 5th championship in a row, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. That'd be 5 region championships.
5 region championships in a row, because 20, 21, 22, last year was 23. So yeah, this would be 5 in a row. Yes, it would. Yeah. And you've dictated that you've gotten the number 1 seed those years, and you make your way, you make your playoff path the most possible, because there was a real possibility if they lost to Halls, we'd be on the road to Morristown West the first round. I mean, that was a real possibility staring us in the eye if you had lost to Powell this week on top of losing to Halls last week. So you're at least guaranteed 1 home game, but you want 3 possibly. So,
I mean, that very well could happen, though.
Yeah, well, it could. The guys have to want it, like Shane said. The guys absolutely have to want it. That's the thing. So, and listen, we know they're capable to do it, but they haven't shown it. They haven't even put 2 games in a row together to show that they've been, badass. I think the 2 best games they played in a row and weren't even that great were Clinton and Farragut. The score says it, but there were things that weren't executed correctly. They were slow starts both games.
I mean, they may have dodged the bullet with Mo West, because Mo West lost in overtime to Bearden.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's no joke. And here's the thing: you might have to play that Mo West team in the second round, because I think Mo West can take care of Halls. I mean that. So that Mo West team's no joke.
It's a. I don't know if they have another team, players only meeting, a come to Jesus meeting. I don't know what has to happen at this point, but like I said, they're riding off the coattails of teams in the past, and you can't do that. Mm-hmm. It's the mindset of snap and clear. This is a different year, different season, different players. You got to set in for yourself. You don't want to be the teams like, oh well, we screwed up. I mean, look at your Alcoas and your Maribels. Like, they make deep runs when it comes to playoff play every time. And they dominate what they have to do in season. And so you start seeing those middle West Tennessee teams is when they start kind of having hiccups here and there. Except for Alcoa. Alcoa's won all 9, 10 straight, some shit like that.
Yes. Yep.
But you're proving that you're beatable. And we have not been beatable in years. Mm-hmm. And something's got to change right now. I mean, I'm personally challenging every single player on the team out there. I don't know what the number is on the team. We're probably talking about 90-something players on that team right now.
Yeah, pretty much those 100 guys. Yeah.
Everything you got walkthrough tomorrow. That better be the best freaking walkthrough you have tomorrow.
Yep. And it needs to be serious, focused business you know, and do what your coaches told you to do. They didn't tell you that just for fun, honestly. You know, I mean, if
Yeah,
you've seen it on tape, execute it.
Speaking as a coach, we can't go out and play the game for you. We study the film. We learn every single tendency their team's going to bring. You've got to soak it in. I've coached kids that literally I could run the other team's scout team, and you could tell me 4 different plays that will run out of your own way. Just out of the alignment, like, oh, I got to watch the running back coming up here. I got to watch the receiver on this side. Like, you all got to be a student of the game. It is not about how many freaking likes I get on TikTok and Insta. Like, it ain't about that shit. This is about you coming out there and playing West Rebel football. You are the top dog in our region. You are the top dog in West Knoxville or in Knoxville. Ain't nobody else in Knoxville capable of doing what you freaking do. Like, I'm getting animated. I know my language is going everywhere, but shit, I mean, you all know what you're capable of, and you've proven it. You are the dominant team of West Knox. That is what it is, or Knoxville, with Knoxville. But
so Swedish has joined the chat. Statistically, West is ahead of what they were last year now, just not winning the close games. Well, I beg to differ with that only from one standpoint. The record was sexier, and of course you did have a win over Maryville, and you did have a win over Bearden. Doesn't matter how it happened, it happened. But in terms of the close games, realistically, you are undefeated when it comes to the close games, because Alcoa was what, a 2-touchdown victory, Maryville was a 3-touchdown victory, and Bearden was a 1-touchdown victory. So I mean, so I'd argue the Bearden game could have gone either way in 3 overtimes. But
this year Alcoa was a 3-point or 3-possession game.
Yeah. So
Bearden was a 1-possession because overtime. Maryville, that's a 2-point differential. I mean, and Anderson County, let's see, 1, 2. Alcoa was, 11, or that was 18 points. Maryville was 21, and West was 7. Oh, West was Bearden was 7.
I would say this. I will argue this. Again, the one thing that I will stress, though, that I will argue, West has played the tougher schedule than, say, Powell has, and even Powell's fans have said that on Coach T. That's what the fans of Powell are concerned with. Like they said that, you know, we've not played anybody since the Anderson County game, and they're wondering if West being more battle tested will be the difference Friday night. But it's going to be a hostile environment, though. Joe,
same thing about Halls. We've played a tougher schedule than the Halls has. Let me pull up Hall's schedule real quick.
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's why they play the games. On paper, you could look at things, but that's why they play the games. I mean, two-pair, look no further than our Miami-Florida State game. On paper, it could have been, you know, Miami looked like they could have maybe won 51-7, but Florida State had a great game plan. They basically put 4 or 5 in the back and said, you're going to have to run it if you're going to score. And Miami ended up winning 36-14. But again, that's why they play the games.
So, I mean, if you go off last week's game against Halls, their toughest games that they've had: Gibbs, who's 8-1, Powell, who's 8-1. I mean, those were their toughest games. And then West, we're sitting at 6-3.
6-3 now. Yeah.
But the games that Halls won were against really, like, I wouldn't call them hard, and they took us overtime.
I will say the Fulton game looks better. I mean, credit to their coach, by the way. He's done a phenomenal job this year. And actually, Fulton and Gibbs is playing Thursday on Rivalry Thursday.
They lost to Central. They lost to Halls. They lost to Anderson County. But Halls, I mean, like, literally, like, no disrespect to Halls, they haven't really played anybody. I'm looking at what Fulton's played. It's Central, Campbell County, Halls, Anderson County, GP, Carnes at Hardin Valley because that whole flood thing and the hurricane that changed everything. And Carnes brought the home game because of the band or some shit. South Doyle, Seymour, Carter. Well, that Carter game was closer than I thought, 42-35.
Mm-hmm.
And they got Gibbs this week.
And that's going to be for second place now, by the way,
Yeah.
for their playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah, like we've had the tougher schedule across the board, but teams that have not played up to potential for Halls the whole season, like they haven't played to what they were capable of last year. Like they've not played good, and they play West. It's like, oh wait, we're in this. Like, is it we're playing down the competition or they're playing up? Like,
I think that there's some teams out there too, Pair, that are literally playing out of their minds. They would give anything to beat West. Like you've said, the podcast, all the things. We're not supposed to be here. Remember, we were supposed to be that school when we played. We were everybody's homecoming, and it's like then somewhere along the lines we did an about face and said, "Yo, no, we run this situation." So and I think a lot of the traditional powers don't like it. Remember, once upon a time, guys, Halls used to be a really good powerhouse in the area. I mean, yeah, they only have one championship to show for it, but they were in it for a lot of those years with that legendary coach they had in the 80s and 90s. So, they've always been pretty good. So
back in our day, those were just a bunch of cornbread fed dudes out there. There's basically a bunch of cornbread fed white dudes out there that you knew you were going to get some choice language out of them. They were going to piss off your players because of what they were saying out there, and it was never safe to be out there. But I mean, they're still battling that stigma because I know coaches out there, and they battle that stigma still to this day because of who they used to be. Well, I'll call it how it is. I mean, that was you can pull the race card all day with what they were saying out there all the time because it was bad. Like those are certain parts of Knoxville you didn't go to because of how they work.
It's true. It is true. So, well, switching gears a little bit, I do want to give a shout out to West's cross country team, by the way, real quick. I'd like to get shout outs to all the sports for West. Congratulations to the following West High cross country runners for qualifying for the state championship. Campbell Asti, a freshman, finished in 4th place with a time of 20 minutes and 36 seconds. Macy Gaines, a sophomore.
How far they run?
I'm really not sure what that is. They didn't say how far they had to run, but this was the time that they made it in, and it was good enough to qualify to compete against the best in the state. Macy Gaines, a sophomore, finished in 14th place. Got it in 21 minutes and 41 seconds. And of course, the guy that we talked about at the beginning of the year, Nicholas Burke, has lived up to the to form being a junior. He qualified in 7th place with a time of 16 minutes and 46 seconds. So shout out to those three to go to state and see what they can do for West representing the Rebels. So shout out to them. Wanted to give them a little bit of dap on the show. So yeah, for sure. But well, switching gears a little bit from high school football to college football, what were some thoughts? The Vols were off, but there were some other games going on. Let me just tell you this, guys, Texas and Vanderbilt. Texas is damn lucky that Vanderbilt got off to a slow start because Vandy should have won that game. I'm telling you.
I'm worried about Tennessee Vanderbilt. I'm worried about it.
Vanderbilt did everything not to win that game. Literally, they did everything not to win that game. It was I was watching that over the weekend while I was in Atlanta. The most intriguing game, I gotta say, man, Indiana has really surprised me. I didn't see this. I didn't see Indiana playing like this. They've really surprised me.
That I'm going to tell you this. Can I just say this, guys? I'm worried that maybe the Gators fire Billy Napier and hire that guy as their coach. To be honest with you,
I'm still going. I'm still going Lane Kiffin to Florida. I'm still
You think
going.
you think Kiffin going there? So yeah.
You want a big profile name that can recruit. And that's the only way you get it.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion. Let's see. I'll pull up this West Cross Country real quick just to see if it shows.
Yeah, I'm just curious because you used to be kind of a track guy and knew those people.
Yeah,
so
I was never a distance guy. Give me the 100, the 200, and the 400. That was me. Man, it doesn't show how far they ran. I'd really like to know what these times are in. Like, are we talking 3 mile? Are we talking more than 3 mile? Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, and unfortunately, they didn't really say anything other than the times and what place they finished. They didn't give the distance on the tweet.
Yeah, I'm checking. I'm checking everything. Let's see. That's the schedule. It doesn't show me what their distance is.
While Shane's looking that up too, Pear, what were your thoughts on college football this past week, though? Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Shane. Go ahead.
3.1 miles.
3.1 miles. Okay, gotcha.
And these times I'm seeing, like, I'm just speaking from my time in the Marine Corps. An 18-minute 3 mile was considered 100 points for our run. Like, that means you were a hauling ass. You got dudes running friggin' 15 minutes, and you got these girls run faster than I could. Shit.
Yeah.
I hovered at 21 minutes on my 3 mile. So,
dang.
And I hate distance. I'm not a distance runner. When my 4'9" son has the same distance and his legs are as long as mine, shit.
So that's dope.
That's all I'm asking. I'm not gonna lie, that's all I'm asking. I knew dudes would run that race, smoke a cigarette at the halfway point, and still run 18-minute 3 mile.
But like this week, like this game between Kentucky can kind of sneak up on these guys. Like I still think Tennessee is going to win, and Tennessee should win convincingly.
As it's always been, no matter how good Kentucky has been in their season, Tennessee is their Achilles heel, and the run game will dominate.
Mm-hmm.
So I see Dylan Sampson, and shout out to Deshaun Bishop. Got to meet him last weekend or last Friday night. Humble dude. I see them dominate like they always do. I think Nico locks in this week because it's Kentucky. It's that rival game. You got Gerald Mincy who transferred and goes to Kentucky now, talking all sorts of shit, trying to say, "Oh, we gotta change this. We gotta move the standard back over to here." The standard ain't never been at Kentucky. I'm telling you that right, man. Come on. The standard Kentucky for the SEC? No, dude, shut your mouth.
We got to score. We got to score in that first half. That's all I'm going to say. We can't put a goose egg going into halftime. I'm sick of seeing that shit.
Tennessee better be at 21-0. That's all I'm saying. They better be at 21-0.
Yeah.
Oh, you better be handing the sticks over the first quarter. That's all I'm saying. Kentucky is Kentucky. You handle little brother, and you remind them why you come across that border. It's our time.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see a lot of matchups this week. That Ohio State Penn State game.
Oh,
Apparently
that's
the
a
Penn
good
State well, and apparently the Penn State quarterback got hurt in the Wisconsin game. That's why that game was a little bit closer. But Penn State found another way to win. But the game's in Happy Valley. But it almost seems like Ohio State's always been Penn State's kryptonite. And realistically, can I tell you this though? If Penn State finally finds a way to win that game against Ohio State, does Ryan Day get fired from a standpoint that they spent $25 million on players, Chip Kelly, to leave the UCLA job to become the OC? Got all these guys to, instead of going to Bama the minute Saban was gone, to come to Ohio State. They lose this second game. We're not even talking about them in the Big Ten championship. We're not even talking about them in the playoff at this point, unless you just put them in because of name recognition with that record.
That's about
That's
it.
what I'm saying. So.
Yeah, I think they're in a world of trouble if they lose to Penn State, though. They are in a world of trouble. And then it's like the thing with Ryan Day, you slip becoming John Cooper.
Oh my God, yes. Oh God, yes.
As good as a coach he is, and I know you're measured on if you beat Michigan. And Ohio State hasn't beat Michigan in a long time.
Yeah. Would you believe before COVID?
Right.
There's even a running joke about that Desmond ribs Herb Street every week on game day about or whatever like that. So yeah, bragging rights. But hell, Herb Street had it for how many years over Desmond? Shit. Michigan could do nothing against Ohio State. So yeah, but
it was crazy because Cooper couldn't beat Carr. Carr
couldn't beat Tressel. And then nobody could beat Urban. Nobody could beat Urban. Not Brody or whatever his name was. None of them.
Rich didn't beat him.
Rich Rodriguez didn't beat him. None of them. So yeah.
Brody Hoke
didn't. Nope. So Harbaugh couldn't even beat him. Harbaugh couldn't beat him until he left. So yeah.
Fired.
Yeah. So in fact, Harbaugh was criticized because he couldn't beat Michigan or Michigan State. So yeah. Well, you guys, this last week though, talking about week 9 because now it's week 10. We've kind of previewed ahead. That Texas Vanderbilt game though. I'm going to tell you guys this. I'm going to the Vanderbilt Tennessee game that weekend of Thanksgiving there in Nashville. Usually it's Nash Vegas Knox Vegas goes to Nash Vegas and it's all orange in that crowd.
Neyland West.
Thank you. But yeah, but I was just thinking to myself, that's going to be a tougher game than maybe we originally thought when you were looking at the schedule before the year. I'd almost argue that possibly the Mississippi State game on the road in Starkville would have been more of a challenge than, say, Vanderbilt on the road. And it's not the fans or the hostile environment. Vanderbilt's got a better team and they're better coached than Mississippi State is.
I've just never seen this type of Vanderbilt team ever. They've given Georgia a run, they give Missouri a run, they've given Texas a run, they give Alabama a run. They beat Alabama, but shit. It's Vandy, or as in the words of my buddy Swain, Vanderbilt.
Is that what he says? Vanderbilt.
But you don't expect this from them, so that game's got me scared. I'm not gonna lie. They are playing. I will never root for them, no matter who they're playing for, because that's little brother. But shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the other thing too, if I can say this, where does Texas go from here, guys, at this point? Because realistically, their 2 biggest wins look like horrible now. For example, Michigan is not even looking good right now, and neither is Oklahoma. Oklahoma is probably not even going to have a winning season this year. So, yeah, at this point.
Who does Vandy have this week? Is Vandy off this week?
I think Vandy's off this week. Yeah, but Texas plays the Gators, if I'm not mistaken, or is that next? No.
It's the biggest tailgate of the year.
That's right. Florida plays Georgia. It's next week. Florida plays Texas at noon in Texas. So yeah, the Gators and the Longhorns at noon.
Now, here's what's funny is that The Florida Georgia game is the 3:30 game.
Yeah, it's the big 3:30 afternoon game. So
we got the 7:45 game with Kentucky. You got Texas A&M and South Carolina. That could actually end up being a better game than we expect. I'm just kind of scrolling through who we got this week. I mean, that was tight. The Ohio State Penn State game is going to be a good one. And Pitt and SMU, that'll be a good one. 18.
What is the what's the ABC 8:00 game, by the way, this week? What's the big ABC SEC game this week on national TV? I know next week's going to be Alabama LSU. I know that's next week, but I didn't know who is this week's game.
Let me look.
So. Two-pair, do you think anybody's going to beat Oregon in the regular season at this point? Their last toughest game is a game against Washington, and I believe they have Michigan. But as we've seen, Michigan, one of Michigan's quarterbacks just retired because of injury. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They're just not. I don't see Oregon losing, though. Like, there's nobody on their schedule that strikes you. They played Utah already, right? Or no?
No, they didn't have to play them this year because now they're in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
The game that was like they had 3 games that everybody was looking at, and they happened to be Washington, Michigan, and Ohio State. The problem is Washington is in rebuild mode after DeBorg left. Michigan's in shambles after Harbaugh left, and then they've already beaten Ohio State. So realistically, they have the easiest path to get to the Big Ten championship at this point. Indiana and Ohio State have to play in a couple weeks. So even if Ohio State beats Penn State, they got to worry about Indiana in a couple weeks. They almost lost to Nebraska, and Indiana smoked Nebraska. So, yeah, I mean, shoot.
Coach Kurt, he can coach, man.
Yeah, he can. Yeah.
Kurt is doing a great job over there, man. Like, they got it really rolling. Like, they make plays. Yeah. Another team that has surprised me, Pitt. Pitt has surprised me. Pitt has really been good on the defensive end. Pitt has really been good. Trying to think of some other teams that have just really, like Clemson kind of turned it around.
Can I say this about Clemson real quick? We're about to learn a lot about Clemson these next 3 weeks. They've got Louisville at home. They're at Pitt. And also Pitt plays Southern SMU this week. So that's going to determine a lot of ACC stuff. And then after at Pitt, they've got to go to at Blacksburg. And Virginia Tech looks like a way better team now. They really do. And you could see somebody making that like the 7 o'clock ESPN game, Enter Sandman, all that cool stuff. And that's a tough place to play. So it's going to be interesting to see how Clemson does look against 3 of the more top teams in the ACC. But right now they're rolling. And but again, you look at who they've played. That NC State team was terrible. I mean, they're just awful. And Wake Forest, they're not very good. So,
this week's SEC on ABC game for the late game will be Texas A&M at South Carolina.
I'm going to tell you this. That could be an upset. I mean, South Carolina's tough in Columbia. God knows we know about that 2 years ago when everything went to hell with poor Hendon getting hurt and everything. So, I mean, that's not an easy place to play. And truth be told, I think South Carolina let one slip against LSU earlier in the year. Just my opinion. So.
Depending on how Tennessee and Mississippi State play this week, a decision will be made on if we are the ABC or ESPN game.
Really?
Or excuse me, it'll be ESPN or SEC for Tennessee, Mississippi State. Yep. That's what it's looking like right now. And Oklahoma and Missouri. So those games will be decided pending on how. So Oklahoma and Missouri next week and Tennessee, Mississippi State will be determined based off this week's games.
All I'm going to say is that Mississippi State, or not, sorry, not Mississippi State, Missouri Oklahoma game has snooze fest written all around it, especially if the Missouri quarterback can't even go. So please, that deserves SEC, to be banished on that channel or something like that. So I'm sorry. So, um, talking a little bit, I wanted to switch a little bit to college basketball. And Two Pair, you got a little bit of an announcement. You're going to be doing the games this year, not only for the Running Rebels and Lady Rebels, but I'd like you to start off with college basketball of what you're going to be doing. I believe starting this Saturday.
Yeah, well, actually, the first and the second, man. So I'm gonna be doing those back to back. It's kind of crazy to even think gonna be announcing at Pellissippi. You know what I mean? So
Yep,
looking forward to it, man.
that's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, I never thought that that we'd have a team. It's just crazy to say.
How are tickets looking this year, by the way? Like, how much are they charging tickets this year for Pellissippi State basketball games?
I don't think it should be. I don't think it's that expensive for it.
Yeah.
It should be no more than $10.
Yeah. Yeah. So
More than 10.
just something to watch, collegiate basketball, some guys that, from the area and everything that get a chance to continue their playing careers. So,
Yeah, it's really gonna be cool to see, man. I'm excited for it because it's at a junior college level, and just being able to get to announce college basketball again, it's just it's pretty awesome. Just
it's where you belong, baby. It's where you
Yeah.
belong. So,
Put it back on the lights.
yeah, it's where you belong, honestly. I'm excited for you. And here's the other thing too. We got to get we talked about this. Busy month of November, playoffs for West, but we've got to get Coach Graves and Coach E on the show. I got to talk to Romero about that and get them on and so forth, and get them their DAP because they got some special seasons coming up themselves. I did want to talk a little college basketball because there were some exhibition games that were being played, and there's not a lot you can get out of an exhibition, And here's the cool thing is they used to be like closed doors, like nobody, there was no TV or nothing, and so forth like that. And then people could make up stats like, oh, this guy, hit 20 points or whatever like that. But some of these games were televised, and that is what was a little exciting for me because you got to see who got to play and who didn't. But here's the thing. This is our favorite team that we like to rag on all the time. The Kansas Jayhawks. Preseason number 1, when they shouldn't be. It should be Connecticut, and I'm not a Connecticut fan by any means. They're the champs until somebody knocks them off. But for God's sakes, Kentucky West, that's now our Kansas, beats them in the exhibition game 85-69, and it's a 16-point loss for Rock Chalk Jayhawk. So my question is, what the hell? Why are they the number 1 team? Honestly,
you know why?
Bill Self. I mean, shoot.
That blue blood thing is a real thing, man. Dodgers just tied it up.
Oh, really? So what's going on? So the Yankees are tied with the Dodgers now? What inning is it?
It is the top of the 8th, 6-6.
Wow.
With the Dodgers coming up. The Dodgers with runners at the corners and 1 out.
Has Aaron Judge showed up tonight for the Yankees? Because there was an APB out for him, by the way, talking a little baseball. So
Man, this World Series has let me down.
It really has.
It's been a very boring World Series.
Well, can I tell you this?
Stanley Cup. We had a great Stanley Cup. We had 7 games in the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
We had
a shitty NBA Finals. We talked about that. It was a shitty NBA Finals. Remember that? Celtics 1-5, and they threw game 4 so they could celebrate in Boston. So yeah, I mean,
NCAA tournament that was like really quick.
Yeah. I mean, that was the UConn Invitational. The women's tournament was more exciting than the men's tournament was. I mean, let's be real.
The women's tournament was very exciting. It was South Carolina won
over Caitlin, and
South Carolina should have won back-to-back titles.
Yeah, they should have.
But no, like when we look at how things have been playing out in this World Series, it's been very just. It has not been exciting. Nothing.
What is up with the
College World Series has been better than the.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it has.
The
Well,
college
and you know what? The executives are probably pissed too. You had market 1 versus market 2. You thought you'd have like ratings galore, and the games haven't lived up to. They've dreamed of New York versus LA, all the time in
you dream of that. You dream of that in all sports.
all sports. You
You
got
know, what's up with the Yankee fans with Mookie Betts trying literally take his glove off to get that ball out of his freaking.
Oh, that was so stupid, and they should have been banned for life from the stadium, honestly. So not just kicked out of that game.
I'm gonna say this though, like just watching it, the College World Series was 20 times better than watching the World Series.
Mm-hmm. As a whole, the playoffs of college baseball were better than the whole
I will die on the college very professional.
Yeah.
College had drama. It had high drama. Think about it. The first game, Tennessee, I don't even know how Tennessee wins that game against Florida State.
Yeah.
Like, they had to beat Florida State twice.
I forgot about that, man. That was an interesting night.
About it. Christian Moore hits for the cycle in the College World Series. This has been, and the Dodgers just took the lead.
Oh man. Oh man. Uh-oh. Well, hey, let me ask you guys this. So, Shane, you were the one that actually told me about Indiana beat Tennessee 66-62 in that exhibition game. Guys, what's your thoughts on Tennessee this year? They lose, a great player in Dalton Connect who's already really making waves in the NBA like we knew he would. I mean, and you've lost some senior leadership. What's Tennessee basketball looking like this year under Rick Barnes and so forth? What they looking like?
Well, you got point guard. The guard play is going to be great with Zakai and Meshack. But Shane, the guy that I'm interested in seeing is Chaz Lanier. Mm-hmm. I'm interested in how he's going to be with this team. You can bring Gainey off the bench with this rotation. I think the guard play is going to set the tone for this team because I think Zakai is probably one of the better guards in the country, best on-ball defender in the nation. He's SEC defensive player returning. So yeah, I think we're gonna be all right. That wise front court is what I'm interested in because you do lose some key guys off that front court. And Vescovy, how great was he as a senior leader?
Yeah.
Well, him and
Josiah, right? Josiah was a senior.
That's tough to fill because of the leadership. I think Zakai takes. I mean, what are seniors do we have besides Zakai? Zakai's a senior, right?
Mm-hmm. He is. I believe he is.
I can't think of who else is a senior in that class.
Well, you had one guy that transferred, so he was supposed to be a senior, and he transferred. So,
talking about Jonas Adu, with the Arkansas.
Yeah, and look at them. Look how great they look. So, I mean, shoot. Yeah.
The teams to look out for, Alabama is got.
That's the team. Yes, Alabama. Yep, for sure.
Let me say that the teams to look out for, UConn is still nasty. Alabama has got some really, they're deep.
They're deep. Yep.
Eric comes back. Mark Sears comes back. They've got a freshman to look out for. LeBaron. The name slips me if we go to their roster.
I'll tell you this, they're definitely going to be going for that South #1 seed. And you know where those games are played at? In Atlanta, by the way. So they would have a very, very nice path if they get that far and stay healthy. I'd argue that if they get a 1 seed, they'll be better than the team from 2 years ago, that was really just one player. And now they've got a whole talented bunch of guys there that can play, and they got a coach. I don't like him, but he can coach, so for sure.
So all of our seniors this year are all guards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't have any front court.
So hold on, is it Nate?
The biggest player we've got is Felix Opara at 6'11", playing forward. I do think it's funny. Zach Edey hardly ever had any fouls in college,
and he's getting called all the time now in the NBA.
All the time now, man. Is the calls that he was getting in college are bullshit.
Listen,
but I'm happy. I really hate that we could not beat them. It's always been Purdue, and it's always so.
Well, it was Purdue that we lost to when they hit that shot
2 or 3 years ago, 3 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, who was it? I'm trying to think. Was it Lamonte? They hit that 3 on, and he was out of bounds, but they didn't call it. Like his foot was on the line. Mm-hmm. Lamonte Turner.
Yep.
That Carson Edwards Purdue team.
Carson Edwards, that was it. Yeah, they knocked out Admiral and
Grant.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was one of our better teams too.
Oh, that was definitely a Final Four team. That was definitely a Final Four team. So.
Like Tennessee's had a couple of Final Four teams. Like last year's team, I just really think Dalton, some of those shots he was hitting in that Elite Eight game were just like back-breaking shots.
Yeah.
The issue with last year's team was they expected DK to just take over. Instead of playing ball, they watched what he could do.
Yeah, there was a lot of DK watching.
Not enough. My thing was Jonas Adu disappeared again. He caught the Zach Edey flu.
Mm-hmm.
Like he thought that Edey flu was real. And Jonas Adu disappeared to the point.
He didn't want it. He didn't want any. It seemed like he didn't want any.
He went to a whole different school. Toby Awaka.
Did you know Zach Edey is literally the heaviest player in the NBA right now?
I believe it because he's like 7'5", 7'4", 7'5".
But test you baby out of China.
But to go on with this point, Toby Awaka, he goes to a whole nother school too.
And I couldn't understand that because he actually was giving you great minutes in that game, honestly, I mean, shoot.
And then you get Australia, who's a foot shorter than Zach Edey, and he gives Zach Edey problems.
Mm-hmm.
I just think far as they go, it's got that front court. That front court's got to establish. They got to establish something. Like they gotta get rebounds. They gotta play well within each other, and they gotta have some continuity down low.
I got a question for you guys. How quick do the Kentucky fans turn on Mark Pope?
Mid-season.
All that rah shit when they introduced him. Let's see how long it lasts for.
Hey,
so shit.
Like this is the thing.
It never works out when you bring a guy in that's that played there. Like I'll just use the late balls as an example. You brought in coaches that played under Pat or Pat's protege, and it never worked out because they'll never be that person.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in bringing in somebody outside. Let them build their own program.
Well, and I think this new lady might have a good shot. I mean, she's actually pregnant, from what I understand.
Yeah, she's gonna be for a reason. I mean, Coach Caldwell looks pretty nice though, but still, shit.
Yeah, I know, right? So, yeah, I just
her husband's on the staff with the men's basketball team. as an analyst or some shit like that. Kind of like the Rich Jones, excuse me, Lyle Jones. I refuse to call him that by the other name. Lyle Jones.
Lyle. Yeah, no, I think so. I think you're right about that, actually. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like the way lay balls went against somebody outside of the house. But I don't see it working out for Kentucky with bringing in a former guy who won a championship and all that. I mean, it's Kentucky. They are a true blue blood. We've had their number the past couple seasons. But I see by the time SEC play hits in, that they're already like, hey, this is a Kentucky basketball.
Well, and I'll tell you this, to watch the guy that you wanted gone because, he fell short and his model maybe wasn't working. And then not only he beats you with a new team and they even get further than before, because I think here's what I'm not saying Arkansas is going to win the whole thing, but I will say this. The pressure is not going to be there for Calipari like it was, at Kentucky, and watch them do a little bit better. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to win it all, but that would be the irony right there for Kentucky fans. You wanted him gone so bad, and now he's going to win somewhere else and beat you at the same time. And he took your recruits while he was at it.
Well, here's what it was. What he was doing in Kentucky was he got the title.
Mm-hmm.
The title gave him some grace to where you're sending all the guys in the league.
Yeah.
Kentucky became the school where you're going to the league instead of the school that was winning championships.
Mm-hmm.
That's where that Kentucky conglomerate didn't like it. So they got tired of being the school. Well, I don't care if we send this many guys in the league. We want to compete.
They got tired of the one and done.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
They became the one and done school.
I mean, that's how Calipari made his living. Memphis and Kentucky.
Yeah.
One and done.
Some would even argue Massachusetts too.
Yeah, well, even Mass. See, he had Camby.
Marcus Camby. Yep, that's where Marcus Camby became a man.
Yeah, Marcus Camby he's one of my favorite players. So I was a huge Knicks fan back in the day.
He had Carmelo Travieso. He had a whole bunch of those guys when he was doing it at UMass. Those refused to lose guys. Tyrone Wheat, Camby, Edgar Padilla, Carmelo Travieso.
They went to a Final Four too.
Bro. Yeah, they went to the Final Four.
95. Yeah.
They went to the Final Four in 96.
96, that was it. Yeah, 96.
Yeah. But I mean, once you started once we got competitive, and we got through the Donnie Tyndall era.
Oh my God.
God.
Oh my God. I think I just had a heart attack when I heard that name. So
man, that was 1 year. But you think of the guy Tyndall brought in, and if those dudes played under Martin or played under Pearl, those are different teams.
Yeah,
and
they are.
Donnie Tyndall, I think Tyndall was a great guy, an awesome guy. It was just, it wasn't a
fit. It wasn't the right fit.
Yeah, it wasn't the right fit.
Yeah.
Because Tennessee struggled that year. And then they got rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even last 2 years.
I mean, he had his violations and all that stuff.
He had the show cause too, so he can't even. He's still got another year or two before he can coach again. From what I understand.
How long we have Barnes now?
Barnes has been here since before COVID, right?
Way before COVID.
Yeah, because Barnes coached the Admiral and Grant team, right?
Yeah.
So he probably came in 18, if I'm to bet. I bet he came in 18.
Let me look.
I bet you he did come in 18. So
he came before 18.
Damn, Rick Barnes is 70. Holy crap!
Yeah, Barnes looks great for his age. Honestly.
Barnes has been here since 2015.
Since 2015, really?
Yeah.
So that means Tyndall's got 1 year left on his show clause. About a 1 year show clause.
Wow. I must have been asleep during that time then. Shoot. I mean, I thought that he came in.
How many dudes he's put in the NBA in the last 9 seasons?
Yeah. I don't know why I thought that 17 was his first year or something, but I guess it's 15.
15.
Wow. So Tyndall coached the 14-15 year, and I guess Barnes came in the 15-16 year.
Mm-hmm.
So Quanzo got let go the year before Tyndall.
No, Conzo left for Cal. I remember making this post, and BT, you were like the first person to comment on it because I saw it pop up, and you're like, what? Like you were shocked. Like I remember making the post about it that because he was holding up a Cal jersey. Before, he went to Cal. He was only there maybe 2-3 seasons, and he went to Mizzou.
Missouri.
Yep.
Quanzo had some talented guys too, man. I'm telling you, like I don't know.
What's Johnny Tyndall up to these days?
Hey, let me ask you this: what's Auburn looking like this year with Pearl?
Was Southern Miss for 2012 through 2014. He did Tennessee for 2014-2015. Got busted for the violations at Southern Miss. He was the Raptors G League assistant coach for 2 years. They went to Grand Rapids as an assistant. He was there till from 2018 to 2020. Now he's at Chippewa College.
God. Wow.
Like he seemed like a good guy. I think he just the Southern Miss stuff caught up to him.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna just state the obvious that I'm glad that Tennessee's program is in Rick Barnes's hands, and honestly, the fact that you have 3 teams that are competitive throughout the year in their respective sports, in basketball, football, and baseball. You're the defending national champs in baseball this year coming up, which should be fun anyway. So.
Tennessee has become a everything school,
And it needed to be again. It needed to be. It really did.
We've never been an everything school.
We had a couple of years with Jerry Green, because remember Delmonico was still doing okay. I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying though. At this level, yeah. But at least
this level, we're prime time must see games.
It wasn't this. I'll give you this. It wasn't like Todd Raleigh baseball and like Buzz Peterson basketball. You know what I mean? Like that was horrendous. That was absolutely atrocious. So, but anyway. Well, college basketball starts Monday, so that'll be fun. I mean, it kind of gets lost in the shuffle, but I'll still be watching the games. Let's get to our predictions, Shane, since we're getting close to the end of the show. It's been a great show, as always. We got some great high school games this week. Our game is the big game that we'll pick last, but I want to make sure that we pick these games because there's playoff implications, there's bragging rights, and realistically, you want to win that game if you're going into the playoffs to have momentum no matter what seed you have. So
give me 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, no worries. So while I'm waiting for Shane to come back to pair, any quick prediction of who you want, of who you think's going to win the national title in college basketball this year? Like just throw it out there. I mean,
Oh man, let's see. The Big Ten has not won the title since 2000.
When the Flintstones were there. Yep.
The Pac-12 is
no more. It's no more. Actually, that's a lie. I bet you they do have some Mountain West teams that converted over or whatever, but yeah.
I'm trying to think, is there anybody in the Big East besides
Connecticut? Is Villanova got a good team this year?
No, in years past, they used to. Now,
like is Marquette got anybody coming back? Because remember, a lot of people liked Marquette last year, and then they just lost to a hot NC State team. But a lot of people liked Marquette last year. So
yeah,
Seton Hall is Seton Hall back this year again? So
I like
St. John's. I know a lot of people were liking St. John's last year with Patino. So yeah,
but we need to say this. The coach we want to send our condolences to the coach of South Florida who passed away.
Oh yes.
Here Abdur Rahim, brother of Sharif Abdur Rahim.
Mm-hmm. And he was in our age range. He was like in his early 40s and a really young, bright mind, they were saying about him. So, yeah,
Yep.
yeah, for
Definitely
sure. So,
our condolences to the
absolutely.
right
Condolences.
family, man. Like, that is just really sad because he was really getting it rolling at South Florida. Got to watch a couple of those games with my clubhouse crew, and it's just really sad because he was really doing a phenomenal job with with the talent he was getting down there in South Florida in the Tampa area.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's a lot of talent now. Florida's almost becoming like a basketball state in terms of the private academies they got down there, and guys kind of flocking down there to play. So something to keep an eye on. I will say this much too. It didn't die, but kind of a surprise. We actually thought he might have been let go because of their tournament performances and how bad they were offensively, but Tony Bennett saying goodbye right before the season, I mean, that was kind of a shocker. And did you see the interview that he gave to Mark Packer and all them at ACC Network? Like, he talked about that it wasn't fun for him anymore, and he talked about the whole thing with get Shane back on here. And he talked about that with the NIL and everything like that, it's ruined it and everything for him. And I was really surprised by that because, this is a coach that was just a few years removed from a national championship. And granted, they had that embarrassing loss as a one seed, but they were always in the conversation. It wasn't the most fun style of basketball to watch, but damn, did they make you work for it, honestly, with their defense and everything like that. But I was really shocked for him to kind of leave, but he says the team's in good hands with the assistant coach that they have, and that's what Virginia's rolling out this year in a very tough ACC conference. So
Yeah, it's wild to even see that that happened. I didn't think he was going to retire that quick. Like, I feel like because he's what 55.
yeah, he's not that old. He's not that
Not,
old of a guy, no.
and for him to call it quits when he's calling it quits,
Yeah.
it's letting you know, man. Like the whole the NIL and the having to compete. I mean, it can it's toll on these coaches, and I think they got to that point where no, they really can't. Really,
You almost look at it real quick before we get to the predictions. The real thing about college basketball, the old guard, and I don't mean it disrespectfully. Rick Barnes being 70, he's been around for a while. Bill Self, obviously, but he's not really that old, but he's been around for a bit. But I guess what I'm getting at is Dan Hurley. He's like the new up and coming Pearl. How old is Pearl now? Is he in his 60s? How old is Pearl now? Late 50s, early 60s at this point. But what I'm saying is
Yeah, he's
like
only in his 60s because Steven is
in
my
his
ex-wife
30s.
age and she is 38.
He's probably in his 60s then. So yeah, so okay. Yeah, but I'm just saying that like it's funny, you're going to see some coaches come and go. But those days of Roy Williams and Krzyzewski and Boeheim and all, they're gone. I mean, they're done, and everything. And I'm wanting to see, like you said, two pair, who else has enough and just I'm done. I don't want to deal with this
like
no more until
hey,
this gets regulated.
when Jay Wright left,
Yes, he's another one. Yeah,
he
yeah,
was
Mr. Style.
he was my favorite coach in college basketball.
Yeah.
Jay Wright, he was my favorite coach, and when he left, I was like, wow, if a guy like that and he's on top of the game, like he's winning national titles at Villanova. Like, look at the guys that are NBA players that he had.
The New York Knicks, basically the New York Knicks, Villanova North. So yeah, I mean, shoot. So,
You look at Jalen Brunson, DiVincenzo, Pascal, Bridges. All of those guys are in the league.
yeah,
Like all of those dudes.
and he had a powerhouse over there. They had been to multiple Final Fours. I mean, they were the it team, honestly. So yeah.
Mhm.
All right, Shane, you got the predictions. Let's call these games and wrap this one up. Another great show, man. Another great cause. So happy Halloween. Have a fun one tomorrow night before I'm thinking about it. So yeah.
I'm writing these games down real quick.
Gotcha.
Make sure I got all of the.
Oh, you know what I'm looking forward to? And we can have a little fun with it when it happens. The Jimmy V Classic, Tennessee versus Miami in men's basketball. Hasn't happened in a long time. So yeah. I think the last time they played was in the early 90s or something like that. So it's been a minute since Miami and Tennessee played in basketball. So that should be fun. Jimmy V Classic up in Madison Square Garden. So,
I got 11 games picked out. Hold on.
Sure.
It's gonna be a good year for college basketball. Though.
I think it's gonna be a fun year. I think it's gonna be a fun year in college basketball. So
seeing how Cooper Flag is gonna play.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting too. So yeah, this freshman class as a whole has some more exciting guys than maybe last year's did, and that's why they made Zach Edey the prince of college basketball. Honestly, unfortunately. So yeah, but there's some really good freshmen this year to watch out for. Diaper dandies, as Dick Vitale used to like to say it. So yeah.
How crazy is it, like not being able to see Dick Vitale?
I know. You know what I'm also waiting for on that same line of things? When Corso finally says, enough, he's missed already a few games with the sickness and illness and being older on game day. And, it looks like McAfee's kind of taken that role of being the rambunctious one on the set and so forth. But it's going to be a sad day when Lee Corso does say goodbye finally.
Man, Lee Corso's effort couple years back.
Oh yeah. When he shot the gun with Oklahoma or whatever, I think he threw ahead. Yeah, he's like, fuck.
That's what 10 years now.
Yeah. I forget which. It was a few years ago. So yeah.
All right, I've got the majority of the local area picked out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We got 14 games in the area.
All right, let's pick them. So let's go.
All right, let's go. Let's go Bradley Central at Bearden.
I think Bearden wins this one handily. I think they're going to let out an aggression, and it's senior night over there. So give me Bearden by 3 touchdowns. So
I'm taking Bearden too. I don't think Bradley got enough to hang with those guys. So
I think after losing there are how many D1 commits they had last year, and they haven't shown much this year. Bearden's been on a roll. They've had a tough schedule, just like West has. I go Bearden.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
We got Oak Ridge at Campbell County.
Give me Oak Ridge. Campbell County's still rebuilding, and they've had a rough year. I don't even know if they've even won a game this year. I think they've won one, but give me Oak Ridge in that game. And Oak Ridge has sealed up the 1 seed in Region 3 in 5A. So give me Oak Ridge.
All right, the powerhouse that is the other Rebels. That's nice little 30-minute drive away versus the Admirals.
I think that Farragut, congrats to them for making the playoffs, beating Hardin Valley last week. It'd be amazing if they could do it 2 years in a row, but I think Maryville is going to be very pissed off losing to Alcoa last week, and I think Maryville's probably going to win with a very big margin. Running clock, I should say.
All right, just because I like the name of the team, Chucky Doke versus Gatlinburg Pittman.
Two pair, who you got, Gatlinburg Pittman or Chucky Doke?
Gatlinburg Pittman, just because I don't see them. If Chucky Doke wins, just
I love their name. I just love the name.
What's their fight name? What are they? The Chucky Doke what?
Ooh, let me look at that.
Wagoneers or something like. What are they? So yeah, I mean, shoot, the Wagoneers. Yeah, two pair. I assume you got Maryville over Farragut, and I assume you got Oak Ridge over Campbell County because you didn't say anything. I just want to make sure. So yeah, okay. No love for the Cougars of Campbell County. Yeah.
What is Chucky Doug's mascot?
Let me quit for they see that. And it's,
Who, Campbell County? They ain't gonna say nothing. So they ain't gonna say nothing. So.
man,
Hey, this is what I got for Campbell County, two pair. Oh man.
What are they called? Oh, come on, where are you at?
Wouldn't it be on Coach T?
The Black Knights.
The Black Knights. I like that. Chucky Doak Black Knights. They need to have like the guy like Heath Ledger in First Night with the on the horse or whatever with the joust. So yeah, but
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. We pick GP. So next up is Cleveland at Hardin Valley.
oh, give me Cleveland, and Cleveland solidifies that third seed with that win. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Clinton at Heritage.
You know, I'm gonna tell you this, man. It's interesting. Clinton is going to the playoffs because of the region they're in, and Heritage is not going to the playoffs because they're in the region they're in. And Heritage beat Lenoir City so bad a couple weeks ago. Give me Heritage as their final swan song in 5A as they head down to 4A because they will not be making the playoffs. So I like Heritage in the upset. So yeah.
I can't remember who Carnes has this week.
Aren't they playing Lenoir City? I thought they were playing Lenoir City.
Yeah, I got that in here. I see it first. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going Clinton over Heritage.
Okay. Two pair. Who you got, Clinton or Heritage?
Clinton.
Clinton. Okay.
I like Clinton. I like what Clinton has shown after the drubbing we've gave.
Well, and not only that, like what they've gone through this year, not much of time for the staff to mesh with those kids. I mean, props to them, honestly. So, yeah.
Alcoa, Kingston.
Oh, gosh. Give me
Alcoa.
Alcoa.
Tornadoes all day.
Yeah. This is their swan song through 3A. They're going to be waving to everybody as they go through it. But, yeah, go ahead.
Gibbs and Fulton.
I like Gibbs.
I like Gibbs too. Fulton's been on a roll, but I think Gibbs will not have the amount of turnovers they had last week against Anderson County. Give me Gibbs. So,
But let me say this. I'm only taking Gibbs because Warren probably one of the best cities.
Yeah. Yeah.
They finally got a stadium. They're taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
But you know what? Coach Long is really doing a phenomenal job.
Phenomenal for the first year. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh! I mean, like they've competed. They've competed. I think the only game they got blown out was Anderson County. That's it. So,
like, he's got guys that played under that Fulton prestige, you know, and they've won state titles. They know what it takes to get there, and you know, him being a guy that's played there, won a state title there. Yeah.
and you know, it's the Rivalry Thursday game tomorrow night, by the way, guys. So if you want to see Gibbs and Fulton, it is on TV tomorrow night on the Knox.
Yeah, the only team they've lost to is Anderson County. Anderson County.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So
I mean, they're sitting 8-1 right now. Central and Halls.
This is actually for the third seed, and it's at Halls. It's senior day. I think Halls gets it done against Central.
I agree on that one.
You said Halls Central?
Halls Central. And the winner gets the third seed. Loser gets fourth seed.
I think Coach Lane still has some rebuilding to do, so I'm going Halls.
I think Halls makes a I think Halls rebounds this week.
Fair enough.
Next up is Carnes, Lenoir City.
I'm going to go Lenoir City by a field goal, but it's going to be a very low-scoring game. But I'll tell you this. If Carnes' defense steps up and maybe causes a turnover or two and does a scoop and score an interception, they'll win. But I'm going to give Lenoir City just a slight edge in that one. So
After what I saw last week and the games I've been to for Carnes, because I live right down the street.
yeah.
I got guys I coach with whose kids are on that team.
Mm-hmm.
At least 3 of the guys that I coach with, their sons are on the team. We're all in agreement on the offensive play calling and how everything goes. I'm going Coach Cummings and the Panthers.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess you agree to 2-pair on that one. LC. Okay.
Yeah, I like LC. Corns, I feel like Corns is they got a young squad. You know what I'm saying? And then I think
It's a dominant junior senior group. It's just the offense. I'll be completely candid. It's the OC's letting his son be quarterback, and he ain't the one. We put the backup in last week, and the offense was clicking better. The play calling isn't what it needs to be. They go away from the run game, which the run game is very, very good. That running back they got back there finds the holes, got a good sidestep, he's got a good spin move. But when you keep trying to throw and it's in the down and distance and it's not working, I mean, number 14 for Carnes is a good receiver, but he's got to work on his hands. I'm going Lenore City on this one because the Carnes defense is good, but if the offense can't produce and you're constantly going 3 and out, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
And Coach Cummings knows what he's doing when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. Lenore City easily.
Yeah. There you go.
Carnes in the playoffs, but it'll be quick in and out.
I'm going to be I'm going to wait till next week when we see the actual matchups between Region 3 and Region 4 and 5A. But I mean, unless Oak Ridge shows me something, I could definitely see Region 4 sweeping Region 3 in all 4 games, by the way, no matter what the seed is, because Oak Ridge lost another key player last week. So they're really in bad injury form, and they might win that first one, but I don't see them getting very far. And unfortunately, I see Clinton, Carnes, and LC all losing in the first round, but that's just my prediction. So, but I'll have to see the matchups next week. What's the next?
Carter and Seymour.
I like Carter. I think Carter gets it done and gets a playoff spot. So, yeah.
Carter's 3-6 on the year, and Seymour's got 1 win. I'm on Carter.
Yeah, Carter's going to clinch the 4th seed with that one.
Seymour has been talked about. It's just really been bad.
Yeah.
Carter should not have any problems at all.
And they'll get the 4th seed. So in that region, it'll be Anderson County 1. The winner of the Gibbs-Fulton game will be 2, with the loser being 3, and then Carter wins. They'll clinch the 4th seed. That's how that region will go. So, yeah.
Seymour's best game was against South Doyle.
And South Doyle hasn't won a game this year. I think South Doyle's won 1 game, if I'm not mistaken. I think they've won 1 game. But
Seymour's won 1 game also, and it was against Doyle. So, Seymour's actually our next game. Anderson County, or excuse me, not Seymour, but Anderson County and South Doyle.
I think Anderson County could play their backups and win this game. No disrespect. I mean, it's going to take a minute for them to rebuild over there. But, Hedrick's doing what he can with what he's got. But
South Doyle has been bottom feeders for the past couple of years. Ever since literally last time they were good was when they had
Clark as their coach. Clark Duncan.
I'm thinking the running back.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Was it Jock Wes Bruce?
Well, they actually had a decent team that lost to Oak Ridge in the semifinals a couple of years ago, but you're right. Like, that team was pretty star-studded in 14 that lost to West with Jock Bruce and all them. So,
yeah. I'm going Anderson County. Anderson County's been good all year. And South Doyle, I'm looking at their scores right now. They literally scored 2 points against Heritage.
Yeah, it's been a rebuilding year for Larry Hedrick. So, yeah. Brighter days ahead for them. So, yeah.
Next up, Jeff County, William Blunt.
Give me Jeff Coe. Jeff Coe's going to get it done.
Give me Jeff County too. I like what they do on the offensive line from what we saw in their scrimmage and what they've shown this past year. I like Jeff County.
Yeah, they play a tough region too.
It's about your 5-4, 4-5 team. I go Jeff County.
Good deal.
And the final one, West Powell, 6-3 versus 8-1.
I want to go last with my prediction on that one. So one of you guys go first with the West Powell prediction.
BTR first.
I think this would be 3 in a row if West wins.
Yep. Yes, it will.
I think they can win. I think the keys to the game, they got to control the ball. They can't have the turnovers. They're going to need to be very methodical. I think they win this game by 1.
Okay.
All right.
Shane, go ahead.
And the Dodgers are your World Series champions.
Oh, my God. I think a couple of my friends just threw remotes through their TVs, but I'm sorry, man. So, yeah.
Based off of what Powell has done this year, what West has been doing, boys, prove me wrong. Taking Powell.
Do you got a score by any chance? He said by 1, but.
Ooh. Given where last week went, I take Powell 35-14.
Over West. Okay. All right. Okay.
Just like Powell, the only time Powell hasn't scored 30 was against Anderson County.
First game of the year. So, okay.
And the rest of the time, they have dominated every team they've played on the field. This is me speaking as a football coach and what I've seen from both teams. Boys, I beg, I plead with you to prove me wrong. You don't come out and play West football, Powell dominates you and takes the region.
Okay. I've been going back and forth on this game even before we even talked this week. A lot of things went through my head last Friday during the game. Obviously, this is the game all year, and it's week 11. It's our 10th game, their 10th game. I think that I'm going to go the opposite. I think last week was a game that I'm glad we got it out of the way in that game and not this week. And maybe I'm a homer, but I think West wins 27-24. Pete Rogers wins it at the end with a last-second field goal kick, and West gets the 1 seed with a chance to defend their title with the best path that they can get in the even year and so forth. But again, you have to play the game. So I'm going to go West, last-second field goal, Pete Rogers, 27-24 over Powell. So. Great show, guys. Great show. And the game will be Friday night on WVLT. I believe Russell and his crew are going to be covering it. So that'll be on my VLT too. So if you can't make it to Powell, definitely watch the game on TV for those that aren't in the area. But if you can show up and be loud for Wes, that'd be great, because I'd love to have you, and definitely say hi if you see us there at the game with Rebels with a Cause. So, but that's all I got. Two Pair, why don't you close us out as always, brother? Another great show. So.
Hey man, great show, man. Great show. You know, we here with it. Rebels with a Cause, just talking sports, just, you know, taking one day at a time. And hey man, just tell your closest loved ones that you love them. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Throw that dub up, and we are out of here, people. See y'all next.
Go Rebels.